visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, all the masters, great teachers of all the lineages, all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and anybody that you have faith in and whose achievement in the Dharma path you respect. And there are 3 points. They are looking upon you with a great deal of love and affection, just as a mother looks at her only child. And then you imagine the Bodhicitta field with your 2 kind parents on either side, your mother on the left side and your father on the right, and all sentient beings, all sentient, and this time you are leading the practice, and you are looking at them with a great deal of unconditional love. And the purpose of this practice is to remove our afflictive obscurations and our cognitive obscurations and unveil the Dhargata nature. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. Gangi tukse nesong ne, tawa tamche pangpe che, dampe choni tonze pe, Gautam dela chakselo. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness and no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme amongst all teachers, the one who taught this peace which is freed of aberrations. Gangi tenching delwa jong, kapa mepa ke mepa, chepa mepa tak mepa, ungwa mepa do mepa, tate don min don chik min, topa yeshi shi tenpa, zogpe sange manam ki, dampa de la chatselo. I prostrate to the mothers of the hearers, the Bodhisattvas and the Buddhas, who through the knowledge of all leads hearers seeking pacification to complete peace, who through the knowledge of paths causes those helping migrators to achieve the aims of the world, and who through the possession of omniscience helps subduers expound a variety of teachings. Nento Shiva Solnam Kunshe Niki Nershi Tize Ganyendang Dole Empire Jinam Lamshi Ki Jikten Dondok Zepagan Gandang Yangupa Dola Fenshepa Tonpa Deshik Kyobla Chakselo. The one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine bodies of the vast and the profound, who eternally shine forth the forever noble light rays, to you the Buddha I make prostrations. Gokpe dawa namshel ching, shapshin geche kunawa, kuntu sanko oseda, kune tola chatselo. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practices of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practices of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practices of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye chodam sogi chogram la, jancho padu dagi kapso chi, dagi jinsog hipe soknam ki, dola pencher sangye dupar sho. Sangye chodam sogi chogram la, jancho padu dagi kapso chi, dagi jinsog hipe soknam ki, dola pencher sangye dupar sho. Sangye chodam sogi chogram la, jancho padu dagi kapso chi, dagi jinsog hipe soknam ki, dola pencher sangye dupar sho. Sham chayo nirodha, evam vadi mahashramanaye swaha. Om ye dharma ye tu bhava, he tam tesham tathagato yavadat, tesham cause are taught by the Tathagata, the cessation of the causes as well is taught by the great seer. Profound, peaceful, elaboration-free, clear light and non-composite. Such is the nectar-like dharma I have discovered, finding no one to fathom this teaching, which is unborn, unseized, and has the nature of space. It is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times, I pay obeisance. Masam Jome Shera Parol Chen, Make Miga Namke Novo Ni, Soso Rangi Yeshe Choyulpa, Jusum Gyalwe Yumla Chatselo. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of all, I go for the Guru. Lama Sangye Lama Cho, Deshin Lama Genyun Te, Kungi Jeko Lama Yin, Lama Namla Chatselo. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, please liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to guide and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. Chenpo Dai Ni, Semchen Dugna Tarji Ching, Kalpa Jewa Samye Su, Chochen Deshin Sutru Chuso. The Buddha does not wash the negativity. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Sethi Lashana Chopa Me. Lashana Nagjumin, Rango Lashana Tatsemin, Zingpa Chungna Tawa Men. We'll now recite the Heart Sutra mantra, page 31. Oh, sorry. Page 14, praise to Shakyamuni. First, we'll say that. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Shugadha, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glory, the virtuous one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, served by the ways of aging, sickness, and death. Page 19. Sun illuminating the threefold faith, praise to the 17 Niladha Masters. Born from great compassion, aspiring to help all beings, God of gods, you have attained the Saviour state of abandonment and realization, and you guide beings through the discourse of dependent origination. O able one, the son of speech, I bow my head to you. At your feet, O Nagarjuna, most skilled in elucidating suchness free of elaborations, the meaning of sutras, the mother of conquerors, through the profound reasoning of dependent origination, in accord with the conqueror's prophecy, you elucidated, to uphold commonly verified knowledge and profound and the vast aspects of the middle way, the union of appearance and emptiness dispelling the two extremes by means of dependent origination that is mere conditionality. I implore you, O Bodhisattva Shantideva, skilled at revealing to the assembly of fortunate spiritual trainees the excellent path of compassion that is greatly wondrous, through a multitude of reasoning most profound and vast. I implore you, O Master Avachanta Rakshita, who initiated the tradition of the non-dual middle way in accordance with the trainee's mental disposition. You are versed in the reasoning modes of both middle way and logic, and you disseminated the conqueror's teaching in the land of snows. I implore you at your feet, O Kamala Shila, you who having expanded snows. I implore you at your feet, O Asanga, you who sustained by Maitreya, were versed in disseminating excellently all Mahayana scriptures, and taught the vast path, and who in accord with the opened hundredfold gateways of the system of logic, and offered as a gift to the world the eyes of critical intelligence. I implore you at your feet, O Dharmakriti, you who understanding all the essential points of both Buddhist and non-Buddhist epistemology, both conviction in all the profound and vast parts of Satantrika and mind only by means of reasoning, you are most versed in teaching the excellent Dharma. I implore you at your feet, O Arya Vimukti Sena, you who lit the lamp that illuminates the meaning of the ornament treatise, wherein the themes of the perfection of wisdom, stemming from Asanga and his brother, were expounded, in accord with the middle way view free of existence and non-existence. I implore you, O Master Haribhadra, you who were prophesied by the Conqueror as expounder of the meaning of the Mother, the perfection of wisdom. You elucidated the excellent treatise on the perfection of wisdom, the three mothers, in perfect accord with the instruction of the Savior Maitreya. I implore you at your feet, O Gunaprabha, most excellent in both integrity and scholarship, who having excellently distilled the intent of 100,000 disciplinary teachings, expounded the individual liberation vows flawlessly according to the tradition of the Sarvastivada school. I implore you at your feet, O Shakyaprabha, supreme upholder of discipline, who reigned over the treasury of the qualities of the three trainings, in order to disseminate the stainless Vinaya teachings for a long time, you excellently expounded the meaning of the vast treatises. I implore you, O Jyotisha, you who having taught all the profound and vast traditions relating to the words of the Buddha, within the framework of the path of the persons of three capacities, were the most kind master disseminating the Buddha's teaching in the land of snows. Having thus entreated these most learned ornaments of the world, the excellent sources of wondrous and insightful teachings, may I be blessed so that my mind becomes ripened and free through the entreaty I made with a mind unwavering and pure. By understanding the two truths, the ontological reality will be ascertained how, through the four truths, we enter and leave samsara. I will make firm the faith in the three jewels that is born of valid reason. May I be blessed so that the root of the path of liberation is firmly established within me. May I be blessed to perfect the training in renunciation, an aspiration for liberation, the total pacification of suffering and its origin, as well as in an uncontrived bodhicitta that is rooted in an infinite compassion that wishes to protect all sentient beings. May I be blessed so that I may easily develop conviction in all the paths pertaining to the profound points of the perfection and Vajra vehicle by engaging in study, reflection, and meditation on the meaning of the treatises of the great trailblazers. May I, in life after life, obtain excellent births that support the three trainings and contribute to the teaching that equals the great trailblazers in upholding and disseminating the teaching of scripture and realization through engaging in exposition and meditative practice. May the members of all spiritual communities spend their time in learning, reflection, and meditation, shunning wrong livelihood. Through the proliferation of sublime masters, may the great face of the earth be beautified throughout all time. Through the power of this supplication, may I traverse all the paths of Sutra and Tantra and swiftly attain the state of conquerors of nations, characterized by spontaneous realization of the two purposes. May I work for the welfare of sentient beings as long as space remains. Page 31, Heart Sutra Mantra. Dayata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasam Gate Bodhi Swaha Tyatha Om Gate Gate Paragate with the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as they endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are rare to find, as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. When others, out of jealousy, treat me wrongly with abuse, slander, and scorn, may I take upon myself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have helped, or in whom I have placed great hopes, mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I, recognizing all things as illusions, devoid of clinging, be released from bondage. From my 2 collections, vast a space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. Page 37, we'll do the mandala offering. We'll start right from the top, and we'll also say the Tibetan verse. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon, I imagine this as a Buddha field and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure land. Shashi po ki jok shing me chok tam towards the Dharma. May I be blessed that my Dharma practice is on the proper path. May I be blessed that the path is free of flaws. May I be blessed that the flaws are seen in the light of exalted wisdom. Becoming frustrated with ignorance that grasps at true existence, please bless me to generate genuine renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that my mind stream overflows with the precious wisdom of the non-duality of bliss and emptiness. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryakyami. Page 73, 3 principal aspects of the path. I bow down to the Venerable Lamas. As well as I am able, I will explain the essence of all the teachings of the Conqueror, the path raised by the Conqueror's children, the entrance for those who desire liberation. Listen with a clear mind, you fortunate ones, who are not attached to the joys of cyclic existence. Strive to make good use of leisure and opportunity, and direct your minds to the path that pleases the Buddha. Without pure renunciation, an end to attraction for the pleasures of cyclic existence is unattainable. The craving for existence binds beings, thus from the outset seek renunciation. Reverse attraction to this life by reflecting on how leisure and opportunity are difficult to find and how life is ephemeral and without span. Reverse attraction to future lives by repeatedly thinking of the infallibility of karma and its effects and the miseries of samsara. Contemplating thus, when for an instant you do not admire the splendors of cyclic existence and remain intent on liberation day and night, renunciation is born in you then. Renunciation, if not tempered by a pure mind of bodhicitta, however, does not bring forth the perfect bliss of unsurpassed enlightenment. Therefore, the wise ones generate the excellent mind of bodhicitta. Swept up by the current of the four powerful rivers, tied by strong bonds of karma so hard to undo, caught in the iron net of self-grasping, completely enveloped by the darkness of ignorance, born and reborn in boundless cyclic existence, ceaselessly tormented by the three miseries, thinking of your mothers in this condition, generate the supreme mind of bodhicitta. Although you train in renunciation and the mind of bodhicitta, without wisdom that realizes the ultimate reality, you cannot cut the root of cyclic existence. Therefore, strive to understand dependent arising. One who sees the infallible cause and effect of all phenomena in samsara and nirvana and destroys all focuses of apprehension has entered the path which pleases the Buddha. Appearances are infallible dependent arising. Emptiness is the understanding that is free of assertions. As long as these two are seen as distinct, you have not yet realized the intent of the Buddha. When these two realizations are concurrent, where the mere sight of infallible dependent origination concurrently destroys all modes of grasping through definite discernment, at that time the analysis of the profound view is perfected. Furthermore, appearances refute the extreme of existence. Emptiness refutes the extreme of non-existence. When you understand that emptiness arises in the form of cause and effect, you are not captivated by the view of extremes. O my child, once you have thus realized the points of the three principal paths, seek solitude and cultivate strong determination, and quickly reach the final goal. So we'll turn to page 251 and say the long life prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, who has blessed us in Tibet House, and we will also keep in mind our teacher, Venerable Geshe-la, and all our masters. We pray for their long lives. Om Swasti. To the assembly of most kind teachers, both present and past, the miraculous dance of the body, speech and mind of innumerable Buddhas, manifesting in accord with aspirant spiritual capacities, the wish-granting jewel, the source of all virtue and goodness, to you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of the snows, live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the assembly of all meditational deities, manifesting as countless mandalas and divinities, the magical clouds of immaculate transcendent wisdom, reaching to the farthest expanse of the space of ultimate reality, to you we offer our prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of the snows, live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To all the victorious Buddhas of the three times, endowed with 10 powers and who are even masters of the gods, and whose attributes of perfection are the source of all compassionate deeds, benefiting the vast ocean-like realm of sentient beings, to you we offer prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of the snows, live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To the assembly of sacred doctrine embodied in the three vehicles, supremely serene, a jewel treasure of enlightenment, stainless, unchanging, eternally good, and the glory of all virtues, which actually liberates beings from the sufferings of the three worlds, to you we offer prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of the snows, live for 100 eons, shower on him your blessings so that his aspirations are fulfilled without hindrance. To all members of the enlightening, noble spiritual community, who never strayed from the thoroughly liberating adamantine city, who possessed the wisdom eye that directly sees the profound truth, and the highest valor to destroy all machinations of cyclic existence, to you we offer prayers with fervent devotion, that Tenzin Gyatso, protector of the land of the snows, live for 100 years. Most courageous one, you carry on your shoulders the burden of all the Buddhas of the infinite realms. May all your noble aspirations be fulfilled as intended. By virtue of this, may the heavenly doors of the fortunate era open eternally as a source of relief and respite for all beings, and may the auspicious signs reach the apex of existence and release as the sacred teachings flourish to all times and in all realms. May the nectar stream of the blessings of the lotus holder always enter our hearts and nourish them with strength. May we please you with offerings of dedicated practice, and may we reach beyond the shores of perfect compassionate deeds. Through the blessings of the wondrous Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, by the infallible truth of the laws of dependent origination, may the purity of our fervent aspirations, may the aims of my prayer be fulfilled without hindrance.
Okay, good morning all of you. I hope you all have the root text with the outlines included. That we have that. Okay, raise your hands those who do not have this, the new version. Okay. The root text with outlines, the page 65. Okay. So now we are for example, at the moment, the emphasis is on presenting Chittamata's philosophy and rejecting their views, rejecting their philosophy. The two things are happening. And for presenting Chittamata's philosophy, in the process of presenting the Chittamata's philosophy, just see, just don't think of that as, okay, this is something to be rejected, finally this does not hold true. Instead of that, what I would suggest is that Chittamata philosophy, they were great propounders, advocates of this philosophy. So these philosophers, and not only philosophers, practitioners who actually practice them, they meant to cleanse the mind fully of the mental defilements and eventually achieve the state of Buddhahood. This is aspiration that they have, and then they accordingly practice. So there must be deeper implication, deeper understanding, deeper insight into this philosophy. So that try to say meditate on whatever we've learned, how the Chittamatas they're trying to present, how the Chittamatas are trying to convince their point of view, the emptiness of the external reality. Just see how much it makes sense to you, and then try to imbibe in this. Okay, if you really, in fact, what I would say is that it's not that Chittamata philosophy is wrong in the sense that it not make any sense to us. This is not the point. It has many facets. It has many facets. For example, that these what I speak about emptiness in three, not really versions. The same version presented from three different ways. Language. One is emptiness of externality. Number two is emptiness of the emptiness of the sameness of the substantiality between the object and subject, and the emptiness of the objects being true referent of the label. The three, particularly said the first and the second. The first one, emptiness of externality, Prasangika would not be too happy with that. And then the second one, although these three, they mean the same. They mean the same. Second one, in terms of how substantially the object and subject, these two are the empty of being one, empty of being different, empty of being distinct. So this Prasangika says that object and subject, substantial has a connotation of objectivity for Prasangika, substantial. So therefore, whenever we speak about substance, we always relate to Southampton School. We try to relate this with Southampton School. Prasangika per se, substance, Prasangika is never keen on that. The moment we speak about substance, automatically a feeling of, say, the objectivity comes into being. So therefore, people are not, the Prasangika, they are not keen on accepting the substantial nature in phenomena. So if that is the case, then Chittamata also saying that object and subject, these are substantially not different. They are empty of being substantially different. So substantially being different is rejected, is empty. So this even vocabulary, even in terms of the words, Chittamata and Prasangika would tally, would agree. So not only in the words, in terms of the meaning, does it make sense? For Prasangika, it doesn't mean that Chittamata's philosophy, emptiness of the object subjects, the separateness, substantial separateness, it doesn't mean that what the Chittamata said can be Prasangika's emptiness. There's not a condition. Even if it does hold true, it can be very gross within the reality which Prasangika accepts. Impermanence is a reality. Impermanence is a reality, but it's very gross as compared to the reality in the context of emptiness, of objective existence. So the point is, what Chittamata is saying, instead of rejecting all of them, see which facets of the Chittamata's presentations are something that Prasangika, from the Prasangika school point of view, can be accepted. Okay, one. Then the next one, the number three is extremely important, and even to understand it from in the context of Chittamata it requires little, say, the effort and intellectual skills. It's not very direct. The object being the emptiness of the object being the true reference of the label. It's amazing. The same label, the same vocabulary, the same structure. Prasangika would say, yes, the flower is empty of being the true referent of the object, true referent of the label. Even the Prasangika will accept. So, how the Prasangika presents it and how the Chittamata presents it, vocabulary-wise, terminology, sentence structure, it's just the same. But Prasangika would understand it in a much subtler way. It doesn't mean that what Chittamata presents is wrong. Chittamata's presentation is not wrong. If it is not wrong, then how that is to be understood, the way the Chittamata understands, when taken to the Prasangika school, how we can understand it. How we can understand it, although it may be gross, as compared to the Prasanga's presentation, Prasanga's philosophy. It may be gross, but that it is something that we can cognize, something that you meditate on it, and then say your afflictions can subside. Okay, let's say in terms of the afflictions, say particularly in the desire realm, it is mostly directed towards the outside object, external. And only when you go towards the form and formless, they go more into the inside the experience. Whereas the desire realm, the very definition of desire realm is where the mind is dominated by chasing after the external, the sensual desires. So therefore, we see that Chittamatra philosophy is so relevant pertaining to meditation, to quell our negative emotions, afflictions, because our afflictions, they are just like the very ferocious waves. Ferocious waves, they are like the ferocious waves of the grossest of the afflictions of the desire realm. And then after the very ferocious waves they subside, then the subtler waves can be seen. So these are the afflictions of the formal realm, and then the very subtle one, afflictions of the formless realm. So so from that point of view, we see that Chittamatra philosophy is so relevant to say the curbing, to the counteracting the afflictions pertaining to the desire, which is more directed towards the external objects. So Chittamatra says there's no external reality. So it's so relevant. Just see, Chittamatra, it is rejected like this, it's rejected like that. No, just seriously reflect on, for example, Acharya Dignaga, Acharya Dharmakirti, and then the Acharya, the Chandragomi. These beings, they are not, we cannot reject them easily if they are truly to be with us. Even if we are to hold the Prasanga view and really have one-on-one discussion, debate with them, it's not easy, Chittamatra philosophy. So the point is that, see how they say, once in a while, reflect on these points on Chittamatra philosophy. How, say, the Chittamatra, for example, how we present it, not just, there is no external reality, not just the propositions, but how these propositions hold true. For example, last time we were talking about, say, the flower, which is seen as externally real. Externally real. So we asked the question as to what makes you think that the flower is the externally real. I could see it. So your eye consciousness. And then if there are like 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, there are 1,000 eye consciousnesses seeing the same object. So all these eye consciousnesses, they depend on the sense power. Sense powers are all different. Because sense powers are different, what you perceive is going to be different. So which of the perception of the 100 people, 1,000 people is correct? If you say that mine one is correct, others will say no, yours one is wrong, mine one is. So we cannot decide. If you cannot decide that someone's perception is correct, then we cannot say, we cannot evaluate or verify the existence of the object. If you cannot verify this, then this is not logically, this is not cognized by valid cognition. If not cognized by valid cognition, then it does not exist. Either you have to say the flower does not exist, or the best way to say is that all perceptions are correct. All perceptions are correct. So how can we say that all perceptions are correct while all perceptions, different perceptions? To say that object is not externally there, it's just your perception. Because the perception is independent there, nothing really different externally. So what you see as a flower is nothing your own perception. Your perceptions is your perception, her perception, his perception. They are different perceptions. So if all perceptions are correct, right? And they can talk about the same object. Same object, there's no contradiction. Right? For example, say put on the blue glasses, all of us put on the blue glasses, look at the white snow, everybody will talk about the same blue snow. But what you say is a blue, what she sees as blue, what he sees as blue is very different because it's your own creation. Nothing there's a common blue. But when we talk, we can converse as though like there's the same object. Blue snow. Okay, so this is Chittamatra philosophy, and see, it is very important. And particularly for us, what I would say is that in the monastic universities, okay, so these people, they are very fortunate. They are so fortunate, so meritorious. Somehow, say the prime of their life, they dedicate on these studies, reflection, meditation. Okay, that's perfect. But for us here, say all over the world, where you have your own job, you have your own household responsibilities, and still getting the opportunity to study this, why not we make the most of this and try your best in your own ways to reflect on, to meditate on the emptiness of the external reality presented by Chittamatra, and see how sometimes once in a while, just see, okay, I'm studying this, they are saying like this, but how can I be convinced that there is no external reality? Reflect on this, and then if possible, try to discuss with other people also, with the driving motivation driven towards exploring how I can make sense of this to my experience. That is so important. Okay, so meanwhile, if you get a little flavor of what Chittamatra is saying, it can be extremely powerful and can be a breakthrough experience. And oftentimes, you may feel that this is it. This is the final, right? Okay, should you be in such a situation, don't be complacent. This is the point. Should you reach to such experience where you get some glimpse of experience and nothing's really there externally, right? Okay, so even if you reach such an experience, to the extent that you feel that this is the reality, still, advice given is that never be complacent. Never be complacent. Keep studying more. Or how Acharya Chandrakirti, he has been, say, presenting Chittamatra's view and then rejecting them. And later on it will be good. Right now, at the moment, what we are learning is of Chittamatra philosophy presented by Acharya Chandrakirti. And then later on, we can study, for example, say when we study Ali Vijnana, there the Kunshi concept, foundation and the all basis foundational consciousness, Ali Vijnana. When you study that, then the Chittamatra philosophy is going to be presented in its own form, not as paraphrased by another school. And then of course, if we do get time when we're studying the Abhisamalankara, then we will also extract the points from Acharya Dharmakirti's chapter 3. Acharya Dharmakirti's Pramanavartika chapter 3. From chapter 3, it is explicitly on Chittamatra philosophy. Chapter 1 is more from Sautanta school point of view. Chapter 2 is presenting the rebirth concept about the feasibility of achieving Buddhahood, achieving Nirvana, the Four Noble Truths in detail. Chapter 2 is all essence of Buddha's teachings are explained in great detail and rationally explained. Chapter 3 is primarily on Chittamatra philosophy. So we can pick up from that. So that is explicitly presenting Chittamatra's view, not as the view to be rejected. So we can study those things. Okay, so just see how and likewise when we study the Savatantric Madhyamika philosophy, again don't think that, oh, this is secondary, this is something to be rejected by the Prasangika finally. No, just try to see how you understand Savatantric Madhyamika philosophy. And then once you understand this, okay, it's amazing, how can somebody reject this? You must get this kind of conviction. How can somebody reject this philosophy? This is so true, it's a reality. Okay, having understood this, then study Acharya Chandrakirti's text, and then when you see that, how that is rejected in a very subtle form, then you will appreciate the beauty. The more you appreciate the lower school's philosophy in terms of experience, the more you'll appreciate the the Prasangika's philosophy. Okay, this is the how we should be proceeding. With that in mind, let's turn to page 65. Page 65 of the root text with outlines. Okay, outline reads, second, once again refuting the way of stating the existence of consciousness without external objects. So Chittamatra will say that consciousness exists, but external objects do not exist. Externality doesn't exist, but consciousness exists. So this position, again, Acharya Chandra is going to refute this, once again refuting the way of stating the existence of consciousness without external objects. For that, under this there are two sub-themes: stating the others system, meaning Chittamatra's philosophy, presenting Chittamatra's philosophy, and then number two, refuting that system. One, stating the others system. The mind only. Arising of visual cognition occurs complete and immediately from its own potentiality. This potentiality, that is the support of consciousness, it is this that is termed the physical sense power of the eye. Okay, let us talk about the eye consciousness. Let us talk about eye consciousness. Say the okay, let's say the do you have this book? No. The Vishla. Okay, just raise your hands those who do not have the text with the outlines. Raise your hands. Okay, anyone else? Okay. Okay, this is very important. Okay, tell me. So this is something which we have already learned in the Buddhist psychology. Say, what is in my right hand? Flower. Okay, how do you know that there's a flower in my right hand?
My eye consciousness.
My eye consciousness can see that. Okay, now we see that finally what helps you to verify the existence of the flower in my right hand is through your eye consciousness, seeing the flower. So this eye consciousness seeing the flower, how does this, even this, everything that exists in this universe, they are dependently originated. And of course Chittamatra and the low schools meaning Chittamatra, Sultan school and Vipassana, for three of them, dependent origination only means impermanent phenomena. Dependent origination and impermanent phenomena, these two are synonymous for the low schools, Chittamatra and the low schools. Okay. Whereas for the Madhyamikas, be it the Svatanta Madhyamika or the Prasangika, the dependent origination is applicable to all phenomena. The phenomena and dependent origination, these two are synonymous. Whereas for Chittamatra and others, dependent origination and impermanent phenomena, only impermanent phenomena are synonymous. Okay. Now from the point of view of the Madhyamikas, this eye consciousness, seeing the flower there, this eye consciousness seeing the flower is dependent originated. So that is, okay, eye consciousness seeing the flower, eye consciousness seeing the flower, which you use as a means, which you use as the agent to verify existence of the flower in my right hand. This eye consciousness seeing the flower, is that dependent origination from the point of view of the Madhyamikas?
Yes.
Yes. Is it dependent origination from the point of view of Chittamatra?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
How yes?
Because it's impermanent.
Because it is impermanent phenomena. Impermanent phenomena and dependent origination, these two are the same from the Chittamatra and low schools. Okay, so now this eye consciousness from Chittamatra point of view, this eye consciousness seeing the flower, that is dependent originated. For them, dependent origination means dependent origination of causation. Only the cause effect. Only cause effect. They don't accept dependent origination of the number 2 and number 3. Right? We can debate, we can discuss. But the standard answer is they only accept dependent of the three levels of dependent origination. They only accept the first level of dependent origination, right? Okay, dependent origination means something which is impermanent phenomena, not at all the permanent phenomena. Okay, now this I consciousness seeing the flower, it is dependent originated. It comes into being by dependence on three causes or three conditions. One is the observed object. Number two is
Unique empowering condition.
unique empowering condition, referring to the I sense power. Then number three, immediately preceding consciousness. Okay, these three factors, these three conditions come together, then the result, I consciousness seeing the flower, comes into being. Okay. Now, thus far we have been talking about how the external, how the object, the flower, seen as external, is actually not external from Chittamata's point of view. It's actually not external. It is nothing but the, say, the nature of the mind. Right? There's no external there. If there is no external there, what makes the person, when looking at the pillar, not the flower, what makes the person not to see the flower? Not because of the absence of the flower, but because of the absence of the activation of the imprint in the mind. Right? This is the answer given by Chittamatra. It's not, external has nothing to do. External doesn't exist. So whether you see the flower or not, it depends on the activation, whether or not the seed, imprint, the potentiality, latency inside your mind, when that is activated or not. If that is not activated, you will not see the flower. It's not that there should be the external flower there. There's no external flower in the first place. Okay, this is what they say. Now, okay, so that is being discussed at great length about the externality. Then what about the sense power of the three conditions? One is purely mental, the preceding mental consciousness. Number two is the observed object, which is that it doesn't really exist externally. It does exist, but not exist external. Number two. Number three, the
Sense power.
I sense power. Tell me, I sense power. Is it? What we said is that everything that exists in this universe, somehow we can see that they can all boil down to, say, the non-composite phenomena, permanent phenomena. They are imputed on the basis of the composite phenomena. Within the composite phenomena, there are three: form, mind, and the non-associated composite factors. So even the non-associated composite factors, they are nothing but somehow comes into being, but depends on the form and the mind. For example, the self, the person, the self. We speak of the self, but this self is nothing but the body and the mind. These two are put together, then the concept of the self comes into being. Otherwise, independent of these two, there is no self. Likewise, imprint, mental imprints. They are also imputed, or they also come into being by as the nature of the mind, or the nature of the mind. So, what about the sense power? Is that physical form, or that is physical form, or that is the mind, or that is the non-associated composite factor?
Physical form.
It's a physical form. It's a physical form. Which physical form? Gross or the subtle? Subtle. It's a physical form. Okay. If it is physical form, then what is Chittamata's view? Right? What is Chittamata's view? What is this? Really, the way we think as external flower, that's already rejected by Chittamatra. Now what about this I sense power? Okay, let's see. Stating other system, mind only. We are reading the second paragraph. Mind only. The arising of visual cognition. Visual cognition meaning, for example, the eye conscious seeing the flower. Visual cognition, which sees the flower, occurs complete and immediately from its own potentiality. So this eye consciousness comes into being by through your potentiality or the imprint. In Tibetan is pakcha, or the seed, sapun, potentiality. This potentiality, there is a support of consciousness. So that potentiality, that supports, that serves as a cause to give rise to this consciousness. Consciousness, it is this that is termed the physical sense power of the eye. So physical sense power from Chittamatra, okay, I'm reading this literally. Then it is for us to decide. You have to decide, right? So I'm reading this literally. So what it says there, Acharya Chandrakirti paraphrasing Chittamatra philosophy, Chittamatra view, is that this imprint which makes you to immediate cause of this eye consciousness, is imprint is activated. This imprint that you have, that is termed as the physical sense power of the eye. That imprint, right? Okay, so that imprint falls under which of the which category? Permanent or impermanent?
Impermanent.
Impermanent. Which of the three impermanent?
Non-associated.
Non-associated impermanent. So now, does it mean to say the Chittamatra would say that this what? The sense power, it is a it's not a physical form, it's not a physical, it is a non-associated thing,
Yes.
right? Okay, this is the point. Okay, so reading it literally, reading the face value, it says that this potentiality is very clearly stated. This is what Chittamatra would call as the sense power. You're getting it? Okay. Now, to make it a little complicated, right? Say, then there's no flower there. If the flower, is it also the sense power? Is also the imprint, potentiality?
Yes.
Even the flower.
Yes.
Okay, the flower and the eye consciousness, they exist together?
Yes.
That also means the flower is not the cause of the eye consciousness?
No.
Then the imprint is also not the cause of the eye consciousness? Huh? Imprint is the cause of the eye consciousness, right? It is the cause. So the cause means it should precede. Okay, no. For Chittamatra, there's only one exception. Say where cause and effect, these two are accepted as simultaneous. That is not all Chittamatras, only the Chittamatra following the scriptures. Scriptures, particularly those accepting Alivigyan. For them, imprint and a mind which carries the imprint, these two are seen as the Alivigyan and the imprint on these two. Imprint on the Alivigyan. So these two are seen as cause and effect. Alivigyan is the cause and the imprint is the effect. But these are simultaneous. This is the only instance, only example for Chittamatra to accept the cause and effect to be simultaneous. Otherwise, all others are accepted in the same way the Southern school, Prasanga school, they accept. Okay, what I'm saying is the Alivigyan and the imprint on the Alivigyan, these two, and more precisely, the Alivigyan and the imprint on the Alivigyan, the two existing together, these two are cause and effect. So one example that we can give in terms of the simultaneity of cause and effect in Chittamatra school is Alivigyan and its and its coexisting imprints, which coexists with the Alivigyan, right? Simultaneously existent imprint and that Alivigyan, these two are cause and effect, yet simultaneous. This is the only example. Whereas Vaibhashika talk about cause and effect can be say simultaneous beyond that. Whereas all other schools, all other Buddhist schools, they talk about the cause and effect to be always sequential. Okay, with this in mind, for Chittamatra, say the flower, is it the cause of the eye consciousness seeing the flower?
No.
Huh?
No.
The flower, is it the cause of the eye consciousness seeing the flower?
No.
No, why not? These two are simultaneous and not the instance of the simultaneous cause and effect. Example of cause and effect to be simultaneous is Alivigyan and its imprints. Other than that, all of the cause and effect should be sequential. So therefore, these two are not cause and effect. Okay, good. So if these two are not cause and effect, so now of the three conditions otherwise required for the eye consciousness to arise, to the visual consciousness to arise, of the three conditions, now for Chitta Matra, one is gone. Right? One condition is gone. That is the observed object. That is gone. Okay, then what about the second one? Unique empowering the condition, meaning the eye sense power. Eye sense power, does it exist as a cause of that consciousness or not? It exists as a cause because it exists in the form of imprint, and that imprint is a cause for the eye consciousness to arise. It does exist as a cause, but it does not exist as a physical form. It exists as an imprint. You're getting it? Okay, this is literal reading of the stanza. Literal reading. You're getting it? Okay. Now it would be good if we can write one. Okay. So those of you who have some possibility to meet with the scholars, particularly monk scholars from the monastery universities, monks or nuns, scholars from the monastery universities, just discuss with them in Chitta Matra whether or not the eye sense power should be accepted as the imprint or can be accepted as the physical form. You getting it? And then if you say that yes, it should be physical form, don't just take it, oh, he said it, she said it. No. Can you give me some, say, the sources where you can, where this is said that is a physical form? So these sources, in most likelihood, the sources that you find in the sutras and that you find in the very standard Indian masters is most likelihood will not be available. You're getting it? These are the very fine discussions, very detailed discussions. When you go into too detail, you will not really find them. So how the details come into being? Say somebody says something, and the next generation will discuss on that, and then more questions come up. Then third generation will ask more. So this is how we split into details. You're getting it? Okay. The point is, even if we don't really discuss, or even if we don't really say, we say that the sense power is the physical form, not a physical form, still you can experience Chitta Matra's philosophy. No problem. You can experience Chitta Matra's philosophy. Okay. So the point is, you can discuss. Don't just ask them whether or not, right? They will say yes, no, how possible, particularly from monastery universities. They can outrightly say, no, this doesn't make any sense, it should be like this. Okay, just say, what are the sources? Give me the sources, if possible. Don't just paraphrase. Give them in the literal form. Tibetan form? You're getting it? Okay, so the point is that these things go down, and the very rigorous debate exchanges that you find and being practiced in the monastery universities, extremely rigorous practice, extremely rigorous system. We are so lucky that it is still alive in this world. Monastery universities, Tepung, Sera, Ganden, and then even in Sakya, Kakyu, Nyingma, these monasteries are there, big monasteries are there. So there, the great scholars, they jotted down their own thoughts, and then their own reading of the earlier Indian masters, their own reading, they explained it further, and the explanations may differ. You're getting it? May differ. Don't just be very rigid. Oh, somebody said that, so this is the text. It doesn't mean that this is the final thought. It can differ from somebody else's view, right? The point is that we have to study more. The point is, it is not what is said there in the text. What is said there in the text and which makes the greatest sense. You're getting it? That is important. Okay, so for the time being, what is literally said there is that the imprint, the potentiality inside, that is what Chitta Matra would call as the eye sense power, nose sense power, ear sense power, body sense power, and so forth. Okay, which means that what is being indicated, that externality as a tangible external physical form is not there. This is what is implied. Meanwhile, further debates can happen. Okay, flower versus the eye consciousness seeing the flower. The flower versus the eye consciousness seeing the flower. Now for Chittamatra, these two are not different. So one is like the image, and the eye consciousness seeing the flower is like the mirror. So these two are the same nature, same substance. Okay, if that is the case, and then very strongly thus far, the Chittamatra rejected, outrightly rejected the presence of the external reality. So why we are seeing things externally, it's not because of the external reality there, it's because of the imprint. So external reality is outrightly rejected. Now once that is rejected, but the flower is there or not? Yes, the flower is there. Okay, if the flower is there, flower, is this made of petals? So we push with these debates. Okay, first we say whether or not this flower is made of particles, very minute particles. Okay, tell me, this flower, whether or not this is made of minute particles. The blue flower in your dream, the dream blue flower, was that made of atoms? Huh? No. Okay. This flower, hey, you're all Chittamatra philosophers. This flower, is this made of atoms?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, how many say yes? Raise your hands. How many say no? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we see that the class is split into two. Okay, so this is exactly in the monastic universities. Even the scholars, big scholars who were competent to write their own the commentaries, very standard commentaries, they also diverge in the views, split into two groups, whether or not the flower is made of atoms. Okay, now the point is, don't just say that no, it is made of atoms, it is not made of atoms. No, try to convince the other side. Try to convince the other side, right? Say, if you say that this is not made of atoms, then say those who would say that it's made of atoms, you can say that whether or not this flower is made of petals. Whether or not this flower, it is made of, say, like at least 4 petals. If the answer is yes, first petal is made of half north, half west, half south, east. Then the one on the east is made of again on north, east, west, south. Right? Keep going like this. Then it becomes so tiny. That tiny thing is known as particles. Right? Okay, this is how the advocates of the flower being made of particles can push the other side to accept that the flower is made of particles. And then those who accept that no, it's not made of particles, then you can, in turn, they push the other side. In the dream, you say that it's made of particles. When you wake up, you say that the dream flower is not made of particles, because it's just nature of mind. Likewise, the flower is also nature of the mind. How can they be particle if the dream flower is not made of particles? It's the same, right? Only when we see that the flower is externally there, then externally we try to split. External means it has the directional paths, directions. Without the directions, there is no externality, right? Only with directions, then we can speak about externality. Okay, so in the dream, there is no externality. So therefore, there is no directions. If no directions, then the what? And then the east, west, north, south is not there. Then the particles cannot be there. Okay, this is how you try to. The point is that what do you think? What do you think? You try to push the other side to accept your position. Meanwhile, don't remain stubborn. Some are very stubborn. Okay, this is my view. You try to push, and the other person already gave a beautiful answer. Still push. No point, right? If you cannot push any further, then it is time for you to reflect on your own point. You're getting it? Why I thought my version is correct. Meanwhile, I realized that that if this is not accepted, then this is a contradiction, but now the contradiction is resolved by this person who give the answer. You're getting it? And to say, go back with your own position and then see how to modify your standpoint to make it more deeper. Okay, that's important. Next answer. Failing to understand that the perception emerging from a sense power, such as the mere appearance of blue, for example, emerges from his own seed with no apprehended external object. Here a person maintains that the mind apprehends external object. Okay, so what is now Achyutamatra is telling us who have no clue of the no clue of the absence of external reality, saying that what is actually happening, there's no external reality there. Say in the dream, there's no external reality there. When we dream of being in a garden, and then the Achyutamatra philosopher, Chandragopal, for example, says that you see a garden there, yes. Is external there? You will say in the dream. You will say yes. Then Chandragopal will say that this is illusion. The garden is there, but the garden is not externally there. So how come that is appearing to me? It's because it's not from there appearing. It's the external imprint. No, the imprint inside. Imprint inside, but the potential inside that is activated. That is activated, and then I consciously seeing the garden comes in arising, and the garden that you see and I consciously seeing the garden both arise simultaneously. This is how it arises. But when these two arise like this, you fail to see the garden and I consciously seeing arising out of the mere imprint. You fail to see that because you don't see that from arising from inside. Then you accept it the way it appears. You accept there's an external garden there. This is how the people are misconceived. People have misconception of the existence of external reality. Okay. Here a person maintains. So this is how person, okay, let's read this again. Failing to understand that the perception emerging from a sense power. Which sense power? Potentiality inside. Such as the mere appearance of blue, for example. The mere appearance means no external reality there. It's just mere appearance, no external reality there. Such a mere appearance of blue, for example, emerges from its own seed, from the imprint inside, potential inside, with no apprehended external objects. There's no external object there. It's just the activation of internal seed. Here, when that person doesn't see that, then the person maintains that the mind apprehends the external object. You getting it? Okay. Now look at this flower. How do you see flower? This flower is coming from a seed, coming from the seed inside, or no, not from the seed. How do you see it? External. I did not ask whether you see it external or not. I simply asked you whether it is seen as coming from the seed or not from the seed. Not from the seed. The moment you say not from the seed means you are unaware of this reality of the activation of seed inside and the flowers perceive. So that you fail to realize. When you don't realize that, automatically the only option left with you is to say that it externally exists, which means it has nothing to do with my seed. Nothing to do with my seed inside means it is cut off. That object is cut off from my mind. When it's cut off, then these two become independent. If these two becomes two independent things, they are not of same entity. These are different entities. If there's a different entity, that is known as external. So this is how we believe that external things exist. You're getting it? It's not an active state that, oh, it's not coming from the seed, it's not like that. Simply because you are unaware that it's actually coming from the seed, you're unaware of that. So this part is you're totally oblivious. Whereas the philosophers can say that it's not from the seed, it's from the outside. They can say like this. But the ordinary people, we are totally oblivious to this reality. So by being oblivious to this, you don't see this. When you don't see this, you only see the flower. And you see your eye consciousness. But you don't see that this is just the appearance coming from this seed. This part you don't see. You see the flower, you see that consciousness, but this eye consciousness, seeing the flower and the flower coming from the seed, that part is what you're oblivious. You're not seeing that. When you don't see that, then you see the flower, you see the subject, these two as disconnected. as disconnected. Disconnected means these two are two independent entities. Two independent entities means these two are not same entity. If these two not same entity, not being same entity, the flower and I consciousness seeing the flower, these two being not the same entity, this is known as the external flower. You're getting it? This is how we perceive things, and then we believe in this perception that the flower exists externally. Okay, the next stanza. Just as there emerges in a dream a mind possessing an aspect of an external object, not due to its presence, not due to the presence of externality, but from the ripening of his own potentiality, in waking life too, one might assert that the mind exists with no external reality. Okay, so now this is like a very beautiful summary of what we discussed thus far. In the dream, you see, say, in the dream, we see ourselves going to, what is that? That garden, Mughal garden. Let's say in the dream we see that we see that Ajirji is taking us to Mughal garden, right? We go there to the Mughal garden, and then in the dream, then Ajirji asks you, this garden exists externally or not? What is your answer?
Yes.
Yes. This exists externally. Then, when you wake up, Ajirji asks you, did you dream of me taking you to Mughal garden? What is your answer? Yes. Did I ask you the question?
Yes.
What is the question that I asked you? Does this Mughal garden exist externally? What was your answer?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now give an answer. That Mughal garden in the dream, did it exist externally?
No.
Answer is no. You're getting it? Okay. So now, although there was no external garden there, but in the dream you saw that as external. That is deceptive. But if there's no external garden there, how did it appear to you? It appeared to you not because of the presence of the external garden, because of the activation of the imprint, activation of the potentiality within your own mind, that this dream comes into being, along with I consciously seeing the dream. In the dream, the object, the Mughal garden in the dream also came. These two came simultaneously or sequentially? Simultaneously, right? So these two are the same nature. These two are not different entities. Okay, so this is the beautiful analogy. Just as there emerges in a dream a mind possessing an aspect of an external object, in the dream you have the I consciousness, and then you see the dream garden as an external object. But this external object that you are seeing in the dream is not due to its presence, not due to its presence, meaning not due to the presence of the externality, not due to the presence of the externality, but from the ripening of his own potentiality. You getting it? So this perception of the garden in the dream is coming from because of the external garden or because of the internal activation of the seed, internal activation of seed. So in waking life too, one might assert, it would be good if we can break this up later on.
One might assert
Okay, in waking life too, one might assert that the mind exists with no external reality. In waking life too, Chidamatra, now Chidamatra is saying, in waking life too, what you are seeing is external, that is deceptive. Right? So what you're seeing is like the dream. What you're seeing is nothing but the activation of the internal seed, not because of the presence of the external reality. Okay, very good. The next stanza, outline, second, refuting that system, refuting the Chittamatra system. Okay, so the following refutation is not that difficult and also not technical. Later on, when the Chittamatra's unique presentation, the unique presentation meaning, particularly in the context of the mind existing as truly and the self-cognizant mind, as the proof of the mind existing truly. So these things, they are more technical. They are not difficult, again, same thing. They are not difficult, but they are not more technical. The thing is, okay, those of us who can attend to the classes, try your best. And even if you cannot attend the classes, but make sure that you listen to the recordings or the live stream or the recordings, whichever, to make sure that the flow is not interrupted, that you have the momentum. So if you maintain the momentum, it's not difficult. The topic is not difficult. I'm saying this again. It can become, it may appear as difficult because the flow is interrupted. You getting it? Okay. Referring that system, middle way. So just as there occurs in a dream, mental cognition of blue and so on without visual experiences, likewise without the eye sense power but from the ripening of his own seed, why is it that such a cognition does not arise in blind? Okay. Okay, something similar of this is what we already learned earlier. Earlier stanza, one of the stanzas was similar, not identical, similar. Now, what Acharya Chandrakirti is saying, so just as there occurs in a dream, mental cognition of a blue and so on without visual experiences. For example, say we, in the dream we don't have the visual, there's no external reality there in the dream. And there's no visual consciousness. But in the dream, you can have the perception of the external objects. Okay, so just as there occurs in a dream, mental cognition of blue actually is your mental consciousness, not the eye consciousness. So without visual experience, you can have the experience of the blue in the dream. So when that is happening where? On a mental level, mental cognition. Likewise, without eye sense power, but from the ripening of his own seed in the waking state. In the waking state. In the waking state for a blind person. In the waking state, if the flower is not required, external flower is not required, then if the eye sense power, physical eye sense power is not required, then for a blind during the waking state, why not? The blind is able to see blue. Likewise, without eye sense power, but from the ripening of his own seed, potentiality, why is it that such a cognition does not arise in the blind, in the waking state? Right? So, tell me, if you are to hold the Prasanga view or Sautantrika view, accepting externality, then if Chittamatra rejects you by saying that okay, if I say if you are Chittamatra philosopher, then you will say that you will accept the defeat, right? You'll accept the defeat. Okay, this Chittamatra. Okay, we give up, right? But if I say if you are Prasangika, right? Okay. Okay, let's say, what would the Chittamatra say? That in the dream, right? Say, in the dream without the visual consciousness all shut down, and still in the dream you can have the perception of blue, perception of external objects and so forth, without the external objects. If that is possible, then in the waking state also, we don't really need external. Chittamatra would say there is no external reality. It's like a dream. In the dream there is no external reality. In the waking state also, for Chittamatra there is no external reality. In the dream also there is no eye sense, physical sense power. In the waking state also there is no physical sense power. It's just the potentiality. So potentiality is present in both cases. In both cases. And external reality, in both cases it is absent. So why in the dream, the mental cognition perceiving the external reality, blue and so forth can happen. In the waking state for the same person, it does not happen. Why not? Ankitla?
Because of lack of imprint.
No. Imprint wise same. It's the same person. It's the same person in the dream and the same person waking up. right?
We're talking about a blind person.
No, so I'm creating another scenario. Then same person, Ankitla, you in the dream, your eye consciousness shut down. There's no external reality. When you wake up, still there's no external reality, according to Chitta Matra, if you're Chitta Matra. And then eye sense power. So the one condition, external object, that is gone. Then the second one, the eye sense power, that also in the dream, it is just a potentiality. In the waking up also is a potentiality. Same. There is no difference. Absence of the externality as the observed object, no difference. And the immediate preceding mind, no difference. So why not when you wake up? When you are in just this house, not in Mughal garden, why don't you say Mughal garden?
Because even for Chitta Matra, the conventional dream is itself an activation of imprint.
Yes.
So these the imprints would be different. The imprint of giving my seeing a flower in my dream is different from the imprint when I'm awake.
Okay, let's say when you're awake, say the imprint is there, imprint of the dream is also there. So why that is not activated?
If that is activated, then I'll go to sleep and dream.
Okay, so the point is, say those people who have the proper eyesight, they can see the Mughal garden if you go there. So the seed can be activated.
Yes, so in their case, the imprint which is getting activated.
So what is required for that to be activated?
Imprint.
External is not
Required, but
so why that seed, sometimes it gets activated, sometimes it's not activated.
No, I'm saying that they are two different.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Say one, the activation of the seed or the imprint of the dream, imprint of the waking state. 2, that's fine. So I'm saying that why the activation of the seed at the time of the waking state, we have to wait till we see the flower.
What is the nature of
That is how it's not that we have to wait till we have to see the flower, because it's not the flower which is the cause of the consciousness, it's the other way around. If we have the imprint.
So what makes the imprint activated, what makes the imprint not activated? Tinzu, you want to say?
Keshava, this is equivalent to verse 55 when we talked about those with cataract without that example. In a way, the analogy is the same. I would agree with Ankita to the extent that the blind person in the waking state does not have the imprint or the eye sense power to see the flower, but it's nothing to do with whether the flower is there or, the external object is not necessary. And it's purely that the blind person will not have the imprint to see the flower, and the one with eyesight has the imprint to see the flower. And an animal has the imprint to see something else, and some herbivores have the imprint.
So, with a person with the proper eyesight, this imprint is not activated all the time. Sometimes it's activated, sometimes not. So what determines? It's not external object. What determines that activation? Madhula? So what makes it ripen at some time? What makes it not ripen other times? Dins Biela?
I was answering the first part of the question. I think Chitta Matra is saying that it's only the mind which is truly existent.
That's true.
And that is why you cannot, and there is no external reality. It's the mind which is truly existent. And that's how in the dream, if you can see blue, I don't know what we said.
Yes, blue.
It's just the mind creating that. And
So why does it not happen for the blind person in the waking state, if it's just a mind?
Sense power. The sense organs are.
So in both cases, in the dream as well for the blind in the waking state, in both cases, the sense consciousness, the sense power is just the imprint. Imprint is in both cases existent. So why not, in the case of despite imprint being there, why not the person, the blind person in the waking state does not see the blue?
That due to the karmic differences, the imprint, because of their previous karmas, the blind person has committed some karmas because of which he has certain kind of imprints that he cannot have the vision or visual objects, seen as seen by who is not blind. So because of the karmic, means the karma or intention.
Okay, so as to why in the case of the blind person, the imprint, the potentiality is not activated during the waking state, and the potential to see the flower or the blue in the waking state is because the karma to activate that seed is the potential is there.
Potentiality is not there.
I see. Potential is not there.
Yes.
Okay. So would you demarcate the two kinds of potential into two? Potentiality to see things in the dream, potential to see things in the waking state is the what you make.
Of course, I will.
Of course. Okay. What is of course?
Yes, the potentiality to see the visual object in the dream is a potentiality. Means the way I am saying they are different. The potentiality to see the visual object in the dream and the potentiality to see the visual object in the waking state.
Okay, so which means they don't have the potential to see the blue in the waking state. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Or if they dream and the person is not blind.
No, make it very precise. Don't make it too long. Okay, so they don't have the potentiality to see the blue in the waking state.
Yes.
Okay, so they cannot imagine blue in the waking state.
Imagine.
Yeah.
That I don't know.
Huh?
They can, means if the person
No, somebody is blind from say age 10.
Then they can imagine.
They can imagine. So that's also activation of the blue.
Yes.
Actually, the potential in the waking state.
In the imagination case, but there is a difference.
No, both are imaginations. They don't exist externally. Both cases.
No, there is a difference. For some, even Chittamatra will make difference between
No, this
the
not
imagination.
even. This not even.
No, they are different cases.
You are Chittamatra.
Yes.
What? Yes.
They are different.
What's different?
They can have the potentiality to see the blue in the imagination, and they may not have the potentiality to see the blue when they are in the waking state.
So how can you distinguish that one is imagination and one is the not imagination?
From this Krishna, that one they can have, other they cannot.
What?
In the imagination they have.
They have what?
They can imagine the blue in the imagination, whereas
Yeah.
they cannot see the blue when they are in the waking state. So they are
Oh,
different.
you need the blue there outside.
No, they don't need.
Then?
Potentiality is absent.
So in both cases the blue is perceived. How can you say one is imagined, one is not? How can you say that?
One is perceived in the imagination. There is a difference.
No. How can you say that? How can you distinguish it in the first place?
So we can ask the person, do you see the blue? He will say no. But do you imagine the blue? Yes. So there is a difference.
So those people who hallucinate,
Yes.
right, from what we call as the hallucination,
Yes.
for that person is real,
Yes.
right? So therefore, that hallucination can happen even for a blind person,
Yes.
right? So the person will say, "I'm not imagination. I'm not hallucinating. It's real."
But then this is a hallucination.
Is this no? From your point of view, this is hallucination. But for him,
Potentiality to see the blue in the hallucination is activated.
this is from your
not
point of
in the
view.
waking state.
How can you say your perception is correct and others' perception is wrong?
The blind person who is hallucinating
Yeah.
and saying that I am perceiving the blue, actual blue,
Yeah.
then it's totally a wrong conception.
From your point of view, right? They will say that you are wrong.
Not they, he will.
He will
or
say
she.
you are wrong. Okay, now the point is, this is very important point. The point is, if there is no external reality, then the question is, what makes the blind person not see the object during the waking state? You're getting it? Okay, is this something we can understand it? If there's no external reality, for example, say, when I lift this flower up, you can have the eye consciousness in the flower. The moment I put it down, eye consciousness in the flower shuts down. So from this we can sense that there's something external. Now Chittamatra would say that no, it's not because of the externality. The moment I bring it down, you see it as bring it down is because imprint to this flower is shut down. You're getting it? This is what Chittamatra would give the answer. Okay, so with this, the question is about the imprint, activation imprint, right? So let us see how Prasangika reject that part. You're getting it? Activation of the imprints. Okay, let's see. Yes.
Can we have more discussion pertaining to this question and Pujala's answer on, the karma to see this and that? Doesn't Chittamatra rely too heavily on imprints and karma? I'm sure this will come in the text.
Yes.
But it's something that even when we are ourselves reflecting upon, I find this very, very difficult to get a hold of. Even as compared to, because of course karma plays a role, but then their reliance is just completely on that, and that is a very confounding.
So basically one thing is conviction must be there within us. Conviction in Chittamatra philosophy, not necessarily say to say that Chittamatra philosophy is a final. Impermanence is not a final. But still we can gain conviction in the efficacy, the truth of the impermanence. Likewise, we try to gain conviction in Chittamatra philosophy. Once we gain conviction in Chittamatra philosophy, then say, how does Chittamatra account for the functionality of the world? Not contradicting with the functionality of the world. So there, then the activation imprint, karma, all these things. So it is on this basis that they try to explain, they try to conform to the conventionality of the world. How Chittamatra philosophy does not contradict with the conventional world. Okay. So conviction must be gained. It's not just, okay, Chittamatra will answer from this, like that. First we have to gain some conviction that external reality that I'm seeing is deceptive. You're getting it? If you get the Prasangika philosophy, that nothing really exists objectively, you get some kind of understanding that external reality is deceptive. You're getting it? And Prasangika, after rejecting objective existence of all phenomena, still they conform to the externality. How at that level, Prasangika positing externality after rejecting objective existence, that is a very subtle position. In fact, what Chittamatra rejected as external, Prasangika also rejects objective externality. Objective externality, right? So what Chittamatra is rejecting is similar to that, not 100% similar. Absence of objective externality is the emptiness according to Prasangika. You're getting it? Okay, I'm taking this in a little more the nuanced discussion. Emptiness of objective externality is emptiness according to ultimate reality according to Prasangika. Then the question is, emptiness of objective externality, is it realized by Chittamatra? This question. Yes, no. No. If you say no, then the emptiness of externality, Chittamatra, does it reject the externality? Yes. Yes. Does it reject the permanent externality? Yes. Yes. Does it reject the objective externality? No. Okay. So say, if I reject the flower, there's no flower in my hand, am I rejecting permanent flower?
Yes. Yes.
The moment I say there's no flower in your hand, I reject permanent flower? Yes. I reject objective flower? Yes. In my hand? Yes. Huh? Yes. Okay, in my hand, is there objective flower? So my hand, I'm holding the emptiness of objective existence flower. There's no, the flower is not there, objective flower is not there, interdependent flower is not there, impermanent flower is not there, permanent flower is not there. You're getting it? So when I say the flower is not there, all attributes related to the flower, they all are rejected together. You're getting it? Likewise, when Chittamatra rejects externality, right, anything to do with externality are also rejected. So they reject the permanent externality, impermanent externality, objective, the externality, then the existent externality, all are rejected. You're getting it? So they reject the objective externality. If they reject the objective externality, they are accepting the emptiness of objective reality, objective externality, right? So emptiness of objective reality, objective externality is the emptiness of externality. It's the ultimate reality of externality. So from the Prasanga point of view, Chittamatra accepts the emptiness of objective externality. No? Yes? Huh?
No.
What no? What no? They don't accept? Okay, do you mean to say they don't accept the, okay, the Tibet House Nandam, yes?
Geshe-la, the level 4 of emptiness, as you've explained to us, rejecting external reality without rejecting objective existence. So the Sangika view would be that Chittamatra does not reject objective existence.
Okay, so what we do is that I'm taking you in a very gradual step. They reject externality, yes, no?
Yes.
If you reject the flower, you are rejecting all the characteristics of the flower, yes, no?
Yes.
You said yes, don't say no now. Right? If you reject the flower, you are rejecting all the characteristics of the flower, yes, no?
Yes.
Okay. If you reject externality, you reject all the characteristics of externality, yes, no?
Yes.
So Chittamatra, according to Prasangika, Chittamatra rejects externality, yes, no? From the point of view of Prasangika, Chittamatra rejects all the characteristics ascribed to externality, yes, no? So Chittamatra rejects objectively existent externality, yes, no? Huh? Objective existent externality is the characteristic of the externality, yes, no? Huh?
Yes.
Louder?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay, so this is what we have to discuss. You're getting it? Okay. So when we go into the technicalities, it is not necessary that all these nuances, complications, you have to understand. If you don't understand it, you will not get emptiness. Don't worry about that. The thing is that, right? So just give yourself the opportunity to go into these nuances. These things which we will never study otherwise. These things we will never explore. You will never get the opportunity to think of these points if the teaching is happening 2 days, 10 days, 4 days, 5 days. It will never happen. Only if there's a systematic study for years and years, only then this opportunity is there. This is a great, great, great opportunity. Even if somebody is already into Dharma, Buddhist philosophy for the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, without getting the opportunity for such a systematic studies, this person cannot have never heard this. You're getting it? So therefore, for us, it's a great opportunity. When these things happen, don't feel that, oh, it's too much, it just, went above my head. Don't, never think like this. Take that as a great opportunity. And then you say, discuss amongst yourself. In the first place, what I said, if you did not really get it in the first place, just leave aside how to resolve this problem. Even the problem, what's the problem, right? Even if you get the problem, even that's a great, great success, great achievement. And then the next phase is how to resolve the problem. You getting it? Okay. So to resolve the problem, say the Chittamatra, we will, okay, from what we first, don't be too stubborn. Don't be too stubborn. Okay. Don't be too strong. Okay, this word, if it's too strong. Okay. So what we do is that try to just let the other person speak. Don't stop it right there, right? This is, in the monastic university, sometimes some of the tough monks, they know where you are taking, and the person cannot, the person is very confident, I cannot defend it further. Now we'll stop right from the gate. No, will not even allow you to come in. I will stop you there. Okay. Whereas those who are very confident, they will deliberately let you go in, right? And then the person knows where you are taking me. And then to the point, you allow that person to take you there. Once you are there, then you will give the answer, and the other person will be mesmerized. Wow, this, I did not think of this answer. It's amazing. You're getting it? So this is how people grow in the power of the wisdom. Intellectual power, the power of the wisdom, it simply grows. This is so precious. Okay, so first what we are saying is that, say, take it very, say, how your mind flows in its natural state. Try to flow in that direction. And then, say, if you get, then you will get to a point where you cannot give any answer. You cannot give an answer anymore. You get stuck there. The moment you get stuck there, you try to see where I get stuck and why I get stuck. You're getting it? You have to identify that. Once you identify that, then try to ask the same question to somebody else, because you know where you're going, where you get stuck. You try to take the other person to the same point of the challenge, difficulty. Then in some cases, people can take you in a very different direction. And you will say, oh, there's another direction there, there's another door there, there's another door there. You're getting it? And then finally, still you may not be happy, which means that you're growing. Your growth is important more than the answers. Don't forget it. I can give the answer right there. It does not help you. Your growth is more important. Finally, you should become a self-sufficient person. Say the expression which says that don't give food to the beggar. Give the skill to get food. Look for the food to the beggar. Give the skill, not the food. Give the skill to acquire food to the beggar. You're getting it? Once you give the skill, that skill the person will employ in any ways. And this person can share the skill with any other people. If you give one food, this food the person cannot share with millions of people. But the skill that you give can be shared with millions of people. So the growth is more important than the answer. The growth. Okay. We'll stop here. Tea break. Come back at 12:30.
Because for us it's a non-existent.
Puja. Bandela, push the to look out with tissue point. Takane, very Indians. One doesn't carry the woman together, teach something here. The colors of a can't do each other. Listen, I just she do this is something she said. Can't check, condemn check, bandana check. Go on the cancer colors of the tradition. Sal member to them. So, you go to Mevai. You since the member of Tuning Muro. You was a member half the era or the teaching any country stage. The middle Madioma. Judy cannot start you. Should stage, should Charles stage. You go Halaba. You go Halasa. To the chat.
And then
you cannot do to the sheet. What can do? Sound Dawa Minwa. Possibility of evening. How about Pubu in the Kunda? How about Pubu Passans Zindera? What does Zindera? So you make what share. Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasam Gati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata Om Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisvatyata. Okay. Page 65. The last outline, which reads, our second, refuting that system, refuting Chittamatra pertaining to the statement that what makes the perception, what makes the cognition, perception of the external reality is not because of the presence of the external reality, but because of the activation of imprints. Okay, refutation of that system, middle way. So just as there occurs in a dream, mental cognition of blue and so on, without visual experiences, likewise without eye sense power, but from the ripening of his own seed, why is it that such cognition does not arise in the blind, in the waking state? This is the Acharya Chandrakirti's refutation, which we discussed If according to you there's a ripening of the potentiality, say it's a matter of in the dream, when in sleep, the ripening of the potentiality happens, and in the waking state, for a blind person, the ripening of potential doesn't happen. If according to you there is the ripening of the potentiality for sixth consciousness in a dream, sixth consciousness meaning the mental consciousness, five sensory consciousness and the sixth mental consciousness, for sixth consciousness in a dream and not in the awakened blind person, then just as there is no ripening of the potentiality for the sixth here for the blind, why would it not be logical to assert that it does not exist in a dream as well? So for the blind person, the activation of the sixth mental consciousness perceiving things in the waking state does not happen in the case of the blind person. Why it should happen in the person in the dream, when dreaming, why should it happen? It's just in both cases, it's just the same, that the externality as a factor is not required. And if it's purely the imprint, just as for the blind person it is not happening in the waking state, why should it is also not happen? Why should it not happen in the dream state, the dreaming for anybody, the blind person or the with proper eyesight? So just as the absence of eyes in a blind man is no cause for vision in a waking life, okay, let's say this is a little language thing. It's not that it's a translation problem. It's not the translation. It's a matter of the semantics. Is a language, the thing, more from the Sanskrit to the Tibetan to the English. So just as the absence of eyes in the blind man is no cause for vision in the waking life. Okay. Absence of eyes in the blind man is no cause for the vision, meaning that, say, for the blind person, that you are not having the vision to see the flower in the waking state for a blind person. Is that because the person is blind, or because the activation of the seed is not happening? Because the activation seed is not happening. This is the answer given by the blind, means it is more with the sense power, physical sense power. So, which means absence of the eyes, the physical, absence of the physical. That's not the reason for okay, let's say, okay, no cause for the vision in the waking life. Say somebody, for a blind person, in the waking state, there's no vision happening. There's no vision happening. So, say, why it is not happening? Is it because of the absence of the eyes, or because of no activation? Is it because of no activation of the imprint? So the absence of the eye is not the cause. Is okay. What is that? So just as the absence of eyes in the blind man is no cause for a vision in a waking life. Okay, let's say. Okay, let's say that the okay, my mind is hanging now. Okay, I say so those with the eyesight, okay, energy loss is happening. Okay, I think I need a little rest. Yeah, I'll come back. Yeah. I'll come back in 20 minutes. Oh, energy loss happening.